Okay, so my partner and I we spent one night in the Snoozebox hotel in Cardiff Bay. It's one of these new pop-up hotels that they tend to use for events. This one was here for the rugby, but they stayed a bit longer, probably to take advantage of the Christmas shopping season. It's a bit of an out-of-the-way area in Cardiff, but wasn't too bad, and probably the weather made it look worse than what it was because we have been having a lot of rain and it's very strong winds lately, so I wouldn't let that detract from the place. We had the reception, which was one of these snoozy temporary structures. Not sure about that as yet. Most of the car park, it was like a waste ground, and there was a lot of mud everywhere, so they put some plastic duck boards over the place so you could you'd have something to step on without getting your feet too wet or too muddy. I would say it looks a bit rough and ready, a bit like something you'd probably see in a refugee camp from first impressions, but you know, best thing to see is view it with an open mind, I think, because you might be pleasantly surprised. Each one's a standard shipping container. You normally get about 4 rooms per container, and they're all independent at the site. There's no mains electric or water or sewage required. It's all self-sustained. As you can see, it's quite windy there. Partner trying to hold the door open for her grandparents on their room. Okay, so we're just walking down to our room now, number 56. Card operated lock on the door, so as soon as you open the door, there you go, that's it. That's very small. TV, there's a double bed at the bottom and a single at the top. Small bathroom with a wet room shower. Actually used the shower in the morning. It wasn't too warm, but it was adequate enough. Likewise, you've got a sink there, makes a funny noise because I think it's all operated on a vacuum system, a bit like the toilet. It's a bit like what you get on a ship. So, as you see, double bed, very comfortable for the night. And a single bed above if you've got three of you. There's a safe box. There's a partner again. They're watching TV, a few TV channels available with satellite. It's our temperature control room, not too bad. Yeah. And we say it was a very windy night, and it was actually quite quiet in there, to be fair. It was very well insulated. Little draft coming from the door, but barely noticeable. Curtain was a perspex sheet that you just put up. So it's now the morning, and we've had one night now in the Snoozebox Hotel in Cardiff Bay, in the pop-up hotels. Not a bad night, a bit windy, but wet outside still. Pretty comfortable night, lovely bed, and you know, it's quite warm and cosy in here, so although for 32 quid or 69 quid as it was last night, is not too bad in comparison to the more conventional hotels. A few minor complaints really to suit, mainly the breakfast and the tea facilities is a bit, leave a lot to be desired. I've had quite a long walk out in the rain and that, but nothing much really. Room small, cosy. It's pretty much like what you get on a ferry. If you had a cabin on a ferry, I wouldn't say it's big, but it's functional, and it suits the purpose for a night. You would want to stay here more than one night. But yeah, all in all, I would probably give it, say, 6 out of 10, because like I say, while it's comfortable and clean, it's not really in a very convenient location in comparison to the city centre. It's quite a walk away from the train station in Cardiff Bay, and the car park is quite muddy, so you have to be careful not to step into large puddles and carry mud into the rooms and things. But But yeah, overall, not a bad place to stay, but something worth trying.
At breakfast there was a pastry in there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Orange juice and tea. You can probably see it's a bit better during daylight. You can see it's still very windy, and say it's a bit dodgy, some of the steps for older people. But it's not too bad. Very muddy. It's the plastic duck boards do a good job of keeping most of the mud out. I think we were on the better side with the view. You can see there the reception on the right, and then the furthest left is where we got our breakfast and tea or coffee in the morning. It's one of the snoozy pods that they have. But it's quite a long walk away from the room if you want tea, which can be a bit of a pain if it's absolutely torrential rain and wind like it was in the night. Okay, so as I said earlier, the overall verdict for our stay was about 6 out of 10. Typically room prices per night range from £32 for a Sunday night, £34 to £37 for Monday to Thursday, and £69 for Friday and Saturday nights, obviously more because it's the weekend. During the Rugby World Cup, prices were considerably higher. Some of the reviews on the internet were saying £169 per night, which is quite a lot, but not bad considering the mainstream bricks and mortar hotels were charging between £300 and £1,500 a night during the Rugby World Cup. So if you're a sports fan and you were there for the matches, you could make quite a big saving by staying in one of these hotels. So probably wondering then, why 6 out of 10? First and foremost, the main factor was the location of the hotel. It was in an out-of-the-way part of Cardiff Bay, which was quite a long walk along a dark and deserted streets if you arrived by train. And you really speaking, you should arrive by road transportation. And as it's a temporary structure, it's not really on any sat-navs, and taxis may not be aware of its precise location. There are no local shops or places to get food. Likewise, in the last point, takeaway delivery drivers again might not know where to go because it wouldn't be on a sat-nav and it's not a well-known place, so it's a temporary structure. It's more of a concern if you arrive early in the evening and if you have not had any dinner or tea. There's no catering facilities on site, neither is any shops or restaurants nearby for you to get anything. There's tea and coffee provided, but again, if the weather's bad, it can be a bit of a pain to go and get it. In the room itself, there's a TV, but the television channels considering a limited number of satellite channels, which was surprising, because you can get more if you use a Freeview antenna like you would at home. There's only about 12 channels available, a few news channels and so on. More of a minor point, but one to consider if you arrive early and you haven't brought a book or you haven't got an iPad or an iPhone with you and you can't watch anything or read anything on the internet. You could be a bit of a boring evening. Tea and coffee facilities provided in a semi-rigid tent structure next to reception, which, depending on where your room is, can be quite a long walk. If you need to get a drink, it's not bad if the weather is good, but if it's raining or windy like it was the night we were there, then it's not very enjoyable at all and can be a bit of a pain. Price, again, it was not too bad, but it was £69 per room, which is good for a last minute booking. Because if you had a last minute booking in one of the more mainstream hotels, they tend to ramp the prices up the closer to the date that you want to stay. However, if you book in advance, you can get similar sort of price, £69 at the more traditional bricks and mortar hotels in the city centre. So the positive points. Well, really speaking, it's the price for last minute bookings. There's friendly and helpful staff there. They can't do enough to help you. Cleanliness of the room. You got a comfortable bed with clean linen. You got a relatively quiet room. It was a bit noisy where we were, mainly because of the wind. You can hear footsteps sometimes, but more of a minor complaint really. But it was pretty good. You've got guest controlled room temperature. I'm not sure what it would be like in the summer, but certainly it was plenty warm enough when we were there. Not sure whether it's air conditioned or not for summertime. You've got complimentary Wi-Fi. That's pretty good. A little bit slow for streaming stuff on YouTube or any video sites, but more than adequate for a night's stay. They give you complimentary toiletries in the room, so for you to have a shower. It's free tea and coffee, even though it's quite some distance away from your room. It's free at the end of the day, so that's pretty good. And you got a limited breakfast in the morning, but nevertheless, it's a complimentary breakfast, which is pretty good for the price that they're charging. Yes, but I would not stay in a city location due to the type of site required. As you can probably see, it looks like waste ground, an old car park, that sort of thing. So it's not really going to be in an accessible area of a city in terms of the local amenities or city centre activities like shops or any cinemas or what have you. However, if I was to go to an event or a festival and one of these hotels was on site, I would definitely stay again, and I think the hotel is probably more geared for that type of use or location. So, my advice really for any potential guests at this hotel, mainly keep an open mind. I didn't really think I'd like my stay here when I first arrived, to be perfectly honest, but when I saw the room and I saw how clean it was and how cosy it was, I thought, yeah, this is quite a nice place for the price that they're charging. At the end of the day, it's a pop-up hotel, and it was put up within 48 hours. So there's going to be pipework visible and things like that. And you know, it looks like, as I said, as a comment I made, it looks a bit like a refugee camp. So probably quite a good one actually, compared to some of the ones you see on the news. Don't expect all the amenities of a traditional bricks and mortar hotel. At the end of the day, you're staying in a shipping container. It comes close with some respects, but at the end of the day, again, it's a temporary structure, so there are going to be some limitations.